Okay, well, looks like the engine is coming out. Alright guys, welcome to the second episode of this MG midget that we work on in the Rusty Beauty shop. And I'm not quite ready to start working on the car yet because I'm still waiting for the parts. I ordered the parts at the end of May and today is June 21st, I believe. And since June the 5th, the parts have been sitting in customs waiting for custom clearance. So finally, yesterday when I tracked it, I found that international item released from customs for processing by Canada Post. Great. However, when I came here, it shows me now that I owe $3,241 in duty and taxes. Can you believe it? My parcel contains the clutch for the MG. So I'm hoping that this is a bug in the system. I'm waiting for the notification from Canada Post to let me know that I have to go pick up the parcel. But if that's how much I owe, then I'm gonna start swearing in public, believe me. That's crazy. Alright, so here's another update. So as you can see here, on June 22nd, the item was available for pickup at the post office. Of course, I went to pick it up and they told me I owe this. And I was like, is this a joke or what? Turns out on the package, the sender put somehow $18,200 US dollars value. So anyways, I appealed it. So as you can see here, item is being returned to Canadian Customs for appeal of duties. And alright guys, so now it is June the 30th. It's more than a month after I ordered these parts. So it was rerouted back to Toronto. It went to Toronto. Then on June 26th, the package came back to Stouffville. It was processed, and then without even contacting me, they rerouted it again due to processing error. And now, June 28th, the item was again in Toronto. So the item keeps going back and forth to Toronto and Stouffville and back to Toronto and back to Stouffville. And still the number here is $3,200. This is absolutely crazy. Can you believe it? I don't. Finally, I have the parts. It is July the 14th today. So I ordered the parts end of May. I don't remember. It was 23rd, 27th. I don't remember, something like that. It is July 14th today and I finally have the parts. And of course, there were more issues today when I went to pick it up, but whatever. I'm not gonna go into details. I finally have the parcel, believe it or not. I also have other parts in it that were for somebody else and also parts for myself that I was waiting for, but you know, mostly everything was for the MG midget that has been sitting here for 50 days now, 60 days, I don't know how long. Anyways, without further ado, let's get crack-a-lacking and get it done finally and give it back to the customer who's been so patient also. At least he wasn't giving me troubles for being so late with the car. Anyways, let me uncover it and we will start working on it. Alright, so what do you expect other than problems here? Immediately as I start working, the thing starts fighting me. So you know that what I believe the main problem here is the pilot bushing or spigot or whatever you want to call it that goes inside the crankshaft and guides the input shaft of the transmission and protects it from vibrating. So when we took the car apart, we found pieces of it inside, like big chunks. And now I even kept finding, like I found these even more in the hole. So now I cleaned it, and I tried to put the bushing there, and look at that. It doesn't fit. It seems like it's starting, but looks like it needs to be jammed to go in, and I think that's what actually happened. Probably when they replaced the clutch the last time, maybe they changed the bushing, I don't know, but if it wasn't fitting properly, they probably just took a brass hammer or something and just gently tapped it in, which cracked it, and then it went from there. Now I know that some of the engines, the midget engines, come with bearing there instead of bushing, but let me show you. I came to the Moss Motors website, and I wanted to check what it is. So this car is 1275 engine. So we look here, and this is the spigot bush or pilot bush or whatever you want to call it. So you see there are two available. This is the spigot bush that I got, and then there's another needle bearing. But if you look at the needle bearing, it's 3/4 outer diameter, where this is 5/8. So 1/8 difference. So the bearing is even bigger, it won't fit there. I knew that we need a bushing, not a bearing, so that's what I ordered, but I questioned myself whether I should have ordered a bearing, but no, the bearing is even bigger. It's not a bearing, it is a bush. And here, if we check it here, it fits perfectly, absolutely no problem and no play, but it doesn't fit inside the engine. I also went ahead and I checked even the 1500 engine, just in case, but look at that. So 1500, this is the bush, and it is clearly much bigger than what we need. And I even went to fitment tab here, and I checked, and it is the same as GT6 and Spitfire and whatever, which I know for a fact it is much bigger than this. This is like a baby bush. So alright, so I decided just to polish it on the wire wheel. Maybe there was a burr here at the end or something, I don't know. So let's see how it's gonna fit inside now. I think it's, yeah. Okay, now it's going in. Actually, it's tight, but it's going in. So I'm gonna just do it a little bit more. Maybe, yeah. Half of it went in, so I'm gonna go do the other side a little bit, and then we're gonna put grease and we're gonna drive it in. It's still too hard, so maybe the flywheel has some scratches. Okay, let me see how I can clean that up. If I find a little wire brush that I can shove there to clean it. Okay, I put some sandpaper inside, and I'm gonna just do this for a while and see. Like, I don't see why it's going halfway in, and even if I flip it around, it still goes halfway in, which tells me that it's not the bushing, it's the flywheel or the crankshaft. Sorry, it's not the flywheel, that's the crankshaft. I'll wash it with WD-40 now. Oh yeah, I can actually feel the damage right there. Okay, so somebody damaged it. I don't know if it was while they were putting it in or taking it out or what happened, but I need to file that a little bit. Right, I kept sanding, and it's going in and out a little bit easier, but it doesn't go all the way in. So I rolled some sandpaper on a piece of tubing here, and I'm gonna try with that. I know it's too aggressive, but I have no other option. Like, my pinky hurts here from this bushing, putting it on and on, like on and off like this. Okay, now it's relatively easy. There you go. Okay, that's enough. Now it goes in without pressing it, without anything. I'm just gonna clean again with WD-40. I'm gonna blow in it, and then we're gonna put grease and be done with it. All right, let's see now. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, that's how we're gonna leave it. Now, let's install the release bearing. Okay, for the release bearing, I put a little bit grease here on the sides, and it has these two clips that go like this. Then we're gonna put it there like that. And now we just turn the clips around to the back like this, and they hold it in place. Except it doesn't fit. Come on, is this gonna fight me now? Okay, I'm gonna start with the lower one because I can see it better. Like that. Oh, now this one went in. Okay. So that's good. And now let's install the clutch on the engine. So we're gonna clean a little bit the flywheel with brake clean. We don't want any grease on it, otherwise the clutch is gonna slip. And this is the clutch. It's tiny. So tiny, it's incredible. Let's compare it with the old one. Yeah, same size. Here we have clear marks saying flywheel side. On the clutch on the TR4 that we were working on with David the other day didn't have any marks, and I never bothered remembering which side is which, but we did it this way, right? We put the embossed part towards the transmission.
Yep.
Okay, so that's right. Flywheel side, so that's how it goes. I also bought a tool. I believe it is the same as the Spitfire, but I just wanted to make sure. So I bought the alignment tool. There you go. So now it's inside. And next we're gonna put the, oh, okay, on TR4 and TR6 you can put the plate after the tool. Here you can't. So we have to put it like this and then run the tool through it and then put it there. Huh. So there are dowels here that we need to match. So now we're just gonna drive the bolts with this gently and consistently from all sides. Wow. It's in. So now I'm just gonna go and find the torque specification for here, and then we're gonna torque them, and then we have to put this down there. Okay, so now all the bolts are torqued. Now we can pull out the alignment tool. See how easy it is to go. Oh, perfect. Perfect alignment. So now we have to drop the engine in, and that's gonna be a big struggle, I guess. But I'm just gonna set you on a time-lapse mode, and I'm gonna jack up the car, and we're gonna see how we're gonna do that. David is here, so if we have troubles, he might assist us a little bit. Oh, and I forgot to mention that the torque is between 18 and 22 foot-pounds, so I went with 22 because I'm that kind of a guy. I want it as tight as possible. So 22 is allowed, 22 it is. All right, the car is jacked up and I have two jacks. One is supporting the car in the front and the other one is under the transmission, so I can adjust it up and down. And I'm not gonna put jack stands for the simple reason that the forks on the hoist need to be able to go there. If I put the jack stand, then I'm gonna be in trouble. Plus, with two jacks, I'm gonna be able to adjust the car or the transmission. I'm not going under, so don't worry about that. If I have to go under, then I'm gonna put jack stands. But for now, I'm gonna keep it on the jacks. I've been told that this is close to impossible by MG enthusiasts who are way more familiar than me. So I trust that, but still I'm gonna try to put it like that. If it doesn't work, the other option is, as they told me, I have to take the transmission out and put them together as a unit, the engine and the transmission. But I hope I'm not gonna get there. I've done it on a TR4 before. The transmission was in place and I put the engine and it worked. So I'm hoping that it's gonna work this way too. Plus here I have way more adjustment than on TR4. On TR4 the transmission, or actually the back of the block here, is hitting the throttle shaft and it's really hard when you adjust it up and down. Here I have another 2-3 inches even to go up with the transmission if I want to. The thing is, I don't want to because I don't know how it is mounted in the back and I don't want to disturb the mounts too much. But I think it is gonna work. If it doesn't, it doesn't, then I'm gonna be wrong, but it is worth trying anyways. So I'm gonna set you up on the time-lapse mode and wish me good luck. Well, it wasn't easy, but it is done. So they came together. So it was going in and it was like just an inch or so and it wasn't going in. I guess the end of the shaft was hard to find the bushing exactly, like we needed to find the correct angle. But David came and helped and we pushed it in and out and left and right and sweated a little bit, but it is in. And I already have two bolts, one here and one on the other side, are holding the transmission together. So now I can put jack stands and go underneath and put few bolts more on between the transmission and the engine, so it doesn't rely only on the two on the top. And then I can finish assembling it. I can put the engine mount now, lower it, then put it here, and then fan blades and starter motor and all that stuff. Maybe I should put the starter motor now as it is raised, because I remember with that bottom bolt I had huge issues removing it. Maybe now it is gonna be easier actually. Yeah, that's a good idea, thanks for telling me. And the fan, etc, etc. So I'm not gonna hold you for all that here, but I'm gonna give you updates every once in a while if anything interesting happens. Okay, the starter is in, top and bottom bolt. It was so much easier. I didn't even need to go underneath the car. I was able to put the bolt from here. So that was what was worrying me the most, because that bolt came out super hard. Now I can put the engine mount and drop it down. You know those lines that they sometimes use in videos, including me. 2 weeks later with the SpongeBob voice. So for me it's sometimes later. Anyway, so it is mostly assembled, starting from all the bolts on the bell housing. I was able to go underneath now. Wasn't that crazy. These here are pretty hard, even though they look easy, but you can't put anything on them. You have to use one flat at a time with a wrench. At least that's what I think I could use. What else here? Starting from here, we hooked up this is the oil pressure line, I believe, the power to the generator, assembled the distributor, the vacuum line, of course all the wires, hooked up the coil, and installed the alternator, installed the temperature sending unit, which I'm pretty sure doesn't work because there's another gauge inside installed, but anyways, if it worked before, it's gonna work again. And I believe on this side we are completely done. Of course, we tightened the alternator. So here we did something. The pulley on the alternator before didn't look right. It looked a little bit misaligned. So I hammered a little bit this bracket here and I pushed it in, which brought the alternator a little bit this way. And I think now it is much better. So the alternator is installed. The belt was super loose when we took the car apart, so now it is tighter. The fan is installed. Here in the front, the fuel supply to both carbs. On the other hand, the return line, or that's for the fumes, I believe, for the evap system. And the two cables here, this is the throttle and this is the choke. These are connected. So I believe the fuel system is complete, and now the only system that we still need to assemble is the cooling system and the heat inside, of course. So there are a few hoses here that need to come. There's a hose that go there. This hose here, and the radiator, which is gonna be fun because we took it out together with the shroud, and the only bolts that were holding it in were right here. One was through this hole and one was through this hole. Now this is somewhat easy to reach because I can also have access from here for my finger. This needs to go on this here later. Yeah, somehow I can reach from here, but on this side there's no access hole, so we will see. Somehow we need to be able to do it. Anyways, that's what's left, but I'm going in for dinner now, and I'll be back after dinner, hopefully to finish it, and I'm hoping to be able to test drive it today, and fingers crossed the clutch is gonna operate properly now. And of course at the end we need to install the bonnet because we took it out for ease of access. That's the update for now. I'll be back with another one later. All right, she's all assembled. The radiator is assembled. These bolts, they were pain in the butt, but what I did was I put the bolts from outside, so I was able to put them in a socket with an extension and just shove them through, and then the nuts were easier to put on this side. How they were put before was the opposite. The bolt was going through here and the nut was put from the outside, which was, I don't know how it worked, but somehow they managed to assemble it. Anyways, it is nice and solid now. Well, I have to tighten these bolts, yeah, and that I forgot, but everything else is assembled. Top and bottom hoses, this hose that goes to the heater or returns from the heater, I guess it comes out of here for the heater and then it goes back to the rad. Overflow bottle here on this side, and the overflow from the overflow bottle goes down. So I believe that's everything. That big intake is assembled as well for the heater, and I think everything is here except the bonnet. So I really want to start it and at least garage drive it, because this guy is blocking me here. You see this rusty bucket here is blocking me. but at least I can garage drive it here back and forth to see if the clutch works properly, and tomorrow we're gonna take it on the road. However, I forgot something. I forgot to buy coolant. So we don't have coolant for the radiator, but as I was walking by, don't tell Chef Tash, I found something. He bought this for the TR4. I'm pretty sure that he's not gonna find out if we actually use it for the MG. I've never seen a jug of coolant here. Are you sure you brought it? Maybe you kept it home? Alright, so she started, no problem. Needed to crank for a while until it pumps fuel to the carbs and everything, but in general, started pretty easy. Uh-oh. There's a little leak here from somewhere. Where is that leak from? It's coolant. Is it from this hose here? I guess so. Okay, we're gonna figure it out. A little bit of leak. But other than that, I spilled a lot of coolant on the floor from here when I was filling it. So that on the floor I know about. But there's no way that I spilled something here. Huh, where is this coming from? That's interesting. I never touched anything here. Other than this, but it looks like it is dry on top. How? Anyway, okay, let's try the clutch. Oh my god, it's so tight here. Okay, let's see now. First, wow, went like a butter. We're no parking, yeah. Works like a charm. Hold on. Okay. How do we go in reverse? Like that. Perfect. Okay. So I guess it was fixed. It goes in second, third, fourth. Okay. We're not gonna hold it depressed for too long because that's a problem for this type of release bearings that are actually not bearings. They are piece of graphite or whatever that is. So we're not gonna hold her on for too long. Yeah, you see this temperature gauge is working, but I think this one is working as well. Anyways, doesn't really matter. The important part is that she drives. Okay, enough. Let me deal with that coolant leak and we're gonna go from there. Alright, it's pretty late. I mean, it's almost dark outside now. It's like 9 o'clock, I think, something like that. But I just wanted to finish this and seal it again so it has time to cure until tomorrow, because I'm planning to put some RTV on it. So took it out from here, cleaned up as much as I can here, cleaned up the valve a little bit, polished it, took the opportunity that it's out to polish it. But look at the bottom. It looks like it is, come on, it looks like it is pretty eaten by the corrosion, especially here. You can see this part is very low. So I'm gonna have to play with it a little bit before I can even do anything. I can take it apart from here and put it on the lathe and just reface this, but I'm afraid to do that from here. Well, I'll try. Let me see how bad it is. Yeah, that's gonna take a while. I better machine it. Okay, I'll try to take it apart and machine it. You see, it's only right in here and here. Here in the middle, it's nothing. Great, as I was taking it apart from here, it came apart from the bottom too, and the gasket came apart. So now we have to take care of this as well. Anyways, I'm just gonna put it together like that for now, so I can put it on the lathe and machine this surface. That's better. There's some dings and dents here, but I don't want to make this too thin, so that's where we're gonna leave it. Alright, so I couldn't find another fiber washer for here. That was a fiber washer that snapped. So I put a copper washer there, and I put RTV on both sides to try to keep it safe. But I also put the white thread sealant on the threads, so I'm hoping that coolant is not even gonna reach to the copper washer here. Here as well, on these threads, I put thread sealer, and I made a new gasket for here. So I'm debating here what to do, whether to put Permatex Forma gasket or RTV, and I think I'm gonna do RTV like here, because it is heat resistant, and I don't know. I think the Permatex Forma gasket is better for oil, but for coolant I think the RTV is better. I don't know, we will see. I'm just gonna do it now, and we're gonna tighten it, and we're gonna let it sit until tomorrow. I'm not even gonna connect the hose yet to keep it dry until tomorrow, and tomorrow we're gonna connect the hose and start the car again. So I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so it is the next day, and we're hoping that the sealant now is cured. There is gasket there anyway, and here there's a copper washer, but here the sealant, and here the sealant. I'm hoping that it is cured. So now we're gonna open this. I closed it so it doesn't leak while I was refilling it, because we lost a little bit of coolant. So I refilled it, and now we can open it, and let's start her again and see if she's gonna leak. So pull the choke, make sure she's in neutral. There you go. Okay, let's open the door. All right, no signs for leaks for now, so that's good. Everywhere else it is dry, no leaks. Great. So I'm gonna let her warm up, and in the meantime I'm gonna see what I can do to move this baby out of the way, because we need to drive out this way to go for a test drive. And this baby doesn't run for now. Soon she's gonna be running, but for now she's on jack stands, and there's nobody here to help me today. All right, the TR4 is moved, so let's go for a quick drive, and if everything is okay, we're gonna come back and we're gonna put the bonnet on, and then we're gonna go for a longer drive. Let's see how we're gonna get out of here. It's a midget, so shouldn't be hard. Okay, we're making it. Are we gonna clear that table? Yes. Okay. I haven't driven it before, because when it came, you know, the clutch was not working properly, so never drove it before. So let's see how she performs now. I usually, when I get cars here, first take them for a quick drive to see how they drive, to make sure that everything is correct, and if something is not okay after, this means that I did something. But this one I haven't driven, so okay, nobody on the road. how far we're gonna go. Let's go back, install the bonnet, and then we can go for a longer drive. I just wanted to make sure that the gears are going in smoothly, it's shifting properly, and all that good stuff. Driveway is not great. My cucumber and tomatoes. Yeah. Oh, the rusty beauties are all over the place here. David's new video is on the screen. Great. Well, it engages properly, shifts properly, so we're all good. All right, so she's all done. Bonnet is installed now. Cleaned her a little bit because she was a little bit dusty, and now I'm gonna go for a longer drive, but I don't think I'm gonna take you with me. It's not legal to drive and hold a phone and film, you know that. So anyway, I think that's gonna be everything for this mini series. It took almost 2 months to change a clutch on an MG. But of course, as you know, the problem was with parts delivery. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for commenting and subscribing. Thanks for sharing and supporting me financially on my Patreon page and by PayPal, and even sending me parts and tools and everything. So thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. See you in the next one. Bye.